coincided with Burrillville Inspector expansion. I live half a mile from from the Algonquin and almost 3/4 of a mile from the proposed power plant. I've been there 3 generations. The whole back end of my land, 11.5 acres, is totally swamp. Cannot build on it. The Burrillville's rules are there's 200 feet if you wanted to build a barn, let's say, in my backyard. I'm very curious why Invenergy's proposal is to fill in back there when there's like at least 20 bodies of water that I know of coming from Buck Hill all the way through my backyard, as well as all the way down to Wilson's Reservoir, Wallum Lake Road, which Wallum Lake is pristine water up there. My father used to say, come get your hip boots in July when they put his taxes up, because in July that's how wet it is back there. And now this proposed power plant is in my backyard, and I think it's preposterous. We don't need it anywhere. I think fossil fuels are a dinosaur. They should be out. They're done. I don't know why this proposal is there with all an aggregate from our town. We have the Expector Energy's Algonquin that's been there since 1953. I have chronic asthma. I live next door in a trailer. I was born in '58. I've been on steroids for 20 years in my younger years. Now they came out with more medicine. I thought it was, they said I had lungs of a 75-year-old smoker when I was 23 years old. And I was born in a trailer right next door. There's a lot of people that are on my road that have chronic asthma, they have oxygen. They didn't have it when they lived in Florida, now they came to Burrillville, and now they're in oxygen. And now the noise is tremendous over there. Spectra Energy has been blowing off this massive blow-offs that we could actually hear in town on South Main Street, about 6 miles away. We heard it. Judy and I was at the liquor store on South Main Street. Judy lives across the street, and we heard this big, we have enough.
How many of you are from base? Is that base?
And I live in
base.
Pasco.
So 3 base
Yes,
people?
other people.
And it's not
so.
only a not in our backyard type thing that I've been reading a lot. We're opposed to fracking everywhere, but it is proposed for Pasco, which is my hometown.
In aggregate is way too much. That's it. We have a power plant already in our backyards. There's no reason to have another one anywhere, never mind in Burrillville. I mean, the water levels are unbelievable. Like I said, I can't plant until like June in my yard because of the water. 22-inch water table in my yard. 22 inches. And they get to put this power plant, a proposed power plant, on
you have
swamplands.
specific citing concerns, which I'm sure you're submitting your comments, and then you have health concerns.
We have health concerns,
and
yes.
then you have concerns from an energy request.
And you know, like the most recent ISO New England auction, there's actually a surplus of energy.
And Nick, you're with FANG?
Correct.
FANG, which stands for?
Fighting Against Natural Gas. So you know, in the most recent ISO New England auction, there's actually a surplus of energy entered into the auction. Only half of the energy for this proposed power plant was purchased at that auction. So this power plant also isn't necessary to meet our energy need, because y'all have been doing such good work on the renewable energy efficiency front. There's actually not a need for this power plant. And I think what we're here today, I know you had referred in the past as this power plant as a stepping stone, but also just recognizing that stepping stone, you know, people are going to get hurt. You know, if this is built, people are going to get hurt in Burrillville. It's going to contribute to global climate change. And like for your legacy, you know, as the Commissioner of Office of Energy Resources, I think we're here today to ask you again what your position is on this proposed fossil fuel power plant. And we're, you know, folks in Burrillville and all of us and people across the state are really concerned about this, and it's not a good project. Cale Keeble, Senator Fogarty, already came out against the project.
Unequivocally opposed to.
Right, and how many folks are with FANG? Is everybody with FANG, or are you guys just here representing yourselves?
Yeah.
Can I comment about you saying something about citing?
So
These people were denied at the citing board. They cannot.
But so Dr. Gold, but we just want to like ask you again to like we're wondering what your position is on the power plant, and if today you have this wonderful opportunity with folks here from Burrillville, people from across the region, to really like make yourself put as a champion on this issue.
I'm just going to listen today because I'm in the middle of many things, and there is a process that's been established to review the plant from a greenhouse gas emission standpoint, from an energy adequacy standpoint, and from a citing standpoint. And so there will be many opportunities for you to continue to make your voice heard as you have done today. And we were sitting in a room, and I heard you coming up through the outlets. So we got the message.
Do you still support the power plant, Dr. Gold?
I'm going to let the process that we've established in Rhode Island through we really have incredibly powerful energy legislation in Rhode Island. It's not an accident that we have one of the nation's best energy efficiency programs. It's not by accident that we have some of the best renewable energy programs and the first offshore wind farm. So I'm going to let the process that's been established by our legislative leaders take its path.
And it shouldn't possibly pass then, and we shouldn't have anything to worry about if it passes.
Well, we all have things to worry about. We have a lot of challenges in this world, and we're all working very hard. So what I'd like to do, since we have very little time, is give everyone that's here an opportunity to speak. So I've heard from you, Kathy and Nick.
But yeah, so
And
but
should we
I
go around the table?
just want to reaffirm, because it sounds like you were just saying like you're going to let the process play out, but you've already taken a position in favor of it, so you're already leaning into that process. So is what you're saying now that you're no longer support the plan and you're
No,
letting
I'm
the
not
process?
saying that. You're putting words into my
So
mouth.
you still
yeah,
support. I was just trying to get
Well,
clarification.
I am in support of letting the due process that's been established play out, which is going to provide many opportunities for all sides of the issue to be explored. So Nick, let's let everyone have their chance. I'm going to go to you next. And what's your name?
My name is Sally Manzello.
Sally.
I live in beautiful North Providence, Rhode Island. My concern is twofold. It is more global. I believe that even viewing natural gas as a bridge fuel is a dinosaur thought in and of itself. It's not in line with what's happening in the rest of the world, more progressive countries, more visionary thinkers. It sort of seems like a typical Rhode Island thing where we're going to do something for business purposes, for the benefit of Goldman Sachs and the governor's business ties to Goldman Sachs, other people locally who may be in some way benefiting from this. And it's not so much looking at the large picture of energy, as you brought up, the fact that we have a national reputation. I think that this is going to hurt it, and I don't see any benefit whatsoever. The people of Burrillville are completely opposed to it, and as that ripples out and more people come to understand what the process is going to look like, the more horrified they become. It's really something that is in my opinion, a step back, a huge step back.
All right, thank you.
And Marion, so just so you know, too, we agreed collectively that the 5 people are going to speak.
Oh, okay,
Amanda,
perfect.
Kathy, Judy, myself, and Sally. So we just want to.
All right, thank you, Nick. So, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, my name is Amanda, and I am from Burrillville in the beautiful village of Pasco, which, according to this map here, this is for you. That's a map of the power plant and the existing compressor station in relation to various bodies of water and the different villages in Burrillville. And you can see for yourself that this is going to have a negative impact on my town and also my family. I have a nephew who's not even a year old yet, and I worry about him coming to visit me. Is the air even going to be safe for him to breathe? Is it going to be safe for him to live here? I moved to Burrillville 18 years ago. 18 years of my life is in this town. It's my home. Where will I go if I have to move? I think it's going to be a lot harder for me to move away from Burrillville than it was for me to move there, because I know what I'll be moving away from.
So you're concerned mostly, Amanda, about the health impacts, is that correct?
The health impacts and the environmental impacts as well. You know, Wallum Lake is the last pristine body of water that we can drink out of. And here's an ad. Here's a recent ad from the Bargain Bar with some of the statistics about the environmental and health impacts. You can have that for your records. We're asking you as concerned Burrillville residents to please oppose this power plant for the sake of our town, our families, and for all the future generations of not just Burrillville but Rhode Island as well.
Thank you, Amanda. So, are you up? No, or did you already speak?
Everybody's doing good so far. Where I'm from.
You're also from Burrillville?
Yes.
We're maybe a little town, but we have a big voice, and we all care about where we live. We lived there for years. People have moved away and come back to this town because of the beauty that it has and it holds. And we are very worried. We have campgrounds that are abutting this thing. George Washington Campground is abutting it. They have land trust land that's abutting it. The compression station expansion, they had trucks going on Eagle Peak Road and Jackson Schoolhouse. People were calling me saying these big trucks are going by these little roads 50 miles an hour. 6,000 trucks in this proposed expansion. 6,000 in our little town. 444 workers for the 36 months. That's another, how many cars? We have Zambarano Hospital right up the road. How are we going to get them out? An explosion. Just like the Spectra Energy, the whistleblowers that went to Nick and RhodeIslandFuture.org and told their piece. There's already been things that have been wrong with the Spectra Energy expansion because they want to rush for the big money. And then now this is going to be hooked to this. We have a bomb in our backyard. We already have one already with Spectra Energy. Do we need any more?
All right, so safety concerns as well.
I have a jet airplane in my backyard coming down every night. I hear wah, 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 wah in my bedroom.
All right, thank you.
I don't think anybody else would like it.
No,
You know,
I have two. Well, go ahead, Nick,
One
and then I
quick
have
concern and then
final.
one question. So another concern is also MTBE water. You know, water was poisoned in Pasco, about 10 years ago. People got
Actually,
cancer.
2001.
2001, yes.
People got cancer and died, animals died, and that's the water they want to use at this power plant.
To cool the town.
Yeah, farm
So-
animals died and nobody got any restitution for that. They just thought they were disposable.
So-
Right, I think they're.
So I think knowing all this, I think another question maybe we'd like to ask you is knowing about the water, knowing about the noise, knowing about the impacts of climate change. I'm just curious personally if this is your town, if you would support this project, and also if you think it's morally right to build new fossil fuel power plants at this time in history. Can you answer those questions?
I'm not going to answer the questions right now, but I'd like to just turn it back. We have about one more minute, and I'd like to just ask you to talk a little bit more about some of the other things that you might be doing in the world of energy. So, Nick, you're probably the one who thinks about it the most. Are you supporting, certain kinds of large-scale renewable
so
energy?
Dr. Gold, we came here with residents of Burrillville, and we're asking questions of you, and you're politely declining to answer, which is all right. So, but I think
I should emphasize, I'm not declining to answer, period, but I don't think that this is the proper forum. But I am listening. I hear what you're saying, and certainly I live in a town with.
They hear us, but
I live in a town where there's a lot of concerns about various issues as well, so I certainly understand where you're coming from.
And I think it is also great, and sorry to take up space here, but all the other work that your department's doing in terms of energy efficiency and renewable energy, and I think the community, the environmental community, really like to rally around the OER and your office, but this is such a huge obstacle because this burns frac gas, it also burns diesel, burn 18 to 19 million gallons of diesel fuel a year, so this is dirty energy. It's fracking, it's diesel oil, this is dirty energy, so I think folks would love to rally around, the department and all the great work that you're doing, but this is just seems like such a mistake to support this fossil fuel power plant, and especially in lieu of all the other great work that you're doing. So I think that's
it's a downslide.
Yeah, well, thank you for the acknowledgement of the great work, and so I'm out of time, but I will say we will take the comments and the fact that you took the time to come and visit very seriously. We're working really hard to try to use all the tools that we have at our disposal, and speaking from a different perspective, Rhode Island is very vulnerable to the challenges of climate change and sea level rise. It's happening all the time. We are very proud of the work that we've done regionally to reduce carbon emissions through our RGGI program. And part of that is the fact, and I don't want to get into the details, but we have transitioned away from coal and oil. So gas is much cleaner than that. I have a good friend who works, just going to hear me out, in China, where they are really suffering the consequences of their power generation. They would, so we're moving in the right direction. And we do want to, we're working really hard to see if we can deploy more offshore wind. Right now that's very expensive, and there's some real challenges in figuring out how we can, accomplish a secure, reliable, sustainable, and affordable energy system for all of you.
And for future generations.
And for future generations,
Which is
absolutely,
critical.
absolutely. I'm, yeah.
Ralph uses in the toilet.
Well, yeah.
Necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not yet.
Exactly. We won't give up. And again, I was sitting with some really terrific national leaders this morning, and everyone is saying the same thing. We want to come up with new solutions to our energy challenges that will allow all of us to benefit. So, if you live in a mansion in Newport or, in the woods in Burrillville, yeah, we all face the same challenges. And God knows, I walk around with a couple cell phones and an iPad, and I want to be able to charge the iPad when I need to. They're
But
big
there's an energy
challenges.
surplus. That's a false
Yes, there
thing.
is.
Let's just be honest. That ISO New England, there's energy surplus in
Well,
the most forward.
Yeah, we'll have to talk more, Nick. So again, I really appreciate you coming, Amanda. Thank you so much. I don't know, do you do a lot of public speaking?
Well,
getting there.
sometimes that's
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
yes.
moved. I really,
Yeah.
I appreciate and respect, and I think one of the things as we go forward, we really do need people to step up and make their voice heard. So we appreciate that.
What forum?
Hmm?
What forum can people be heard?
Well,
Not at the energy facility side of the world.
I believe there's a number of public meetings, but we will make sure, I'll communicate that to you, Nick, and Kathy. I think I might have both of your emails.
Okay.
So we'll make sure that you know about the opportunities to speak. Not that you need an invitation.
What?
All right,
And I think
thank
we're
you.
going to sit here for a minute and talk about, if you don't mind, just talk for 30 minutes amongst ourselves. Or we can talk about Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for the thank you for listening.
We'll keep working on it. We need everybody.
You too.